Hey, this is Mike, and I'm really excited. I have a very good friend who is here in the studio. His name's Steve Olsher. He is the best-selling author of What Is Your What, which we're giving away today. And he also just came off the backside of doing a launch that generated over 80,000 leads in a very short period of time. So thank you for being here, sir.
Thank you for having me, sir.
All right, so we're going to be talking about reinvention, radio and interviews, and also about your big lessons that you learned coming out of this launch recently.
Let's do it.
So with all launches, there's always a certain amount of pleasure and pain that goes along with it.
True.
So let's begin with, first of all, before we do that, give everyone the brief Steve Olsher commercial.
25 plus year entrepreneur, chairman, founder of liquor.com, New York Times bestselling author of What Is Your What, discover the one amazing thing you were born to do, speaker, teacher, and sometimes a good husband.
Nice.
Thank you.
That was well done.
Thank you.
That was well done. Very nice and succinct. So let's talk about big lessons learned. You just came off of this launch, and the good news is walk away with over 80,000 leads. What piece of advice can you give someone, or what was the big strategy that made that possible, that made it all come together and work?
Oh man, yeah, you know, it's, first of all, it is a lot of work, no doubt about that. But 80,000, why? Because we had a lot of amazing partners. Now, my partner is someone who has had a lot of built up, shall we just say, there's a lot of built up relationships and just sort of currency, if you will, with folks I've been doing a lot of supporting over the years. So it's the same kind of thing where you really gotta, I hate to even say it because it's so darn overused, but it's like you gotta add a lot of value first.
Right.
So support people, help people, and then, oh, by the way, I've got this thing coming out, will you help me? The answers are gonna be more so yes than no, but you gotta do a lot of that groundwork first.
Right.
So we had a lot of really, really good partners. One partner, in fact, brought us over 20,000 clicks. And so that's a lot. That's a lot.
Oh, man.
But it's also because we had really good offerings. The main offering that we had was something called the Ultimate Directory of Influencers. And basically it was 241 powerful podcasters, big-time bloggers, and social media stars who can make you famous at the push of a button, right? Who doesn't want that? Well, of course you want the list, but we went a step further. Here's their picture, here's their bio, here's their website, here are their social media stats, and oh, by the way, here's their email address.
It's really good. So gave them a directory of, hey, I can help make you famous. That's a great offer.
Yeah.
So that generated almost all or the majority of the leads.
That was over 40-odd thousand of the leads that came in.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the next giveaway, what was the next one that generated, let's say, the next blob?
It would have been even bigger if we had done it the way I had originally thought about, which was we created an authority website blueprint, which is basically, hey, this is what if you're going to have an authority website, my gang show, here's what it looks like, picture, this is what goes here, this is goes here, blah, 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 blah. So we took them through the process of what an authority website looks like. Take this template, give it to your web guy, go, he'll build it for you, you're done. My original plan was actually to give away that template.
Oh, wow.
I literally wanted to give away that template. We would have done easily over 100,000 leads, but it kind of got vetoed because of the amount of customer service that probably went hand in hand with that. And I get it, but ultimately, the directory I think went over really, really well, simply because you're handing people something that the more you can shorten that gap, right? Cut the curve, shorten the gap. The closer you can get people to where they want to go faster, the easier a time you're going to have selling it or offering it or giving it away.
Push button, get famous. Push button, make money.
True.
Right?
Yeah, that is exactly what it's all about. Now, it's not that simple. It's not that easy.
Never is.
But there is a framework. There is a formula.
Very nice. Okay, so that's a good one. So let's move on down to, I've known you because I've been on your stage before we met, and we've always had a very parallel, similar life in many, many ways in terms of what we've done. Right now, you're in a great transitional moment in your life, in a space of reinvention, but you've also coached a lot of other people through your book, What Is Your What?
True.
So I'm curious, if you're going to go through like the biggest foundational principles, if you're going to shortcut, let's say you said, you don't even need to read my book, even though we're going to give it away today.
Yeah.
What would you say are the biggest, like the number 1, 2, and 3 takeaways from your book that are really, really valuable and important for people either reinventing themselves or thinking about it?
Yeah, and in Authorland, they say you write the book you most need.
Oh, yeah.
So I am the poster child for reinvention.
Right.
And so I created this book because I did the Myers-Briggs and what color's your parachute? And it just left me with more questions than answers.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, great, I want to talk about politics or finance or money or business or whatever's in these corners of a room. okay, great. Now what? I'm in a corner of a room with people I don't like. Now what? It's like, what do I do after that?
I got there. Right. I don't like there. Yeah.
So 3 things. And it really just boils down to the framework that I have created that is so simple. It's like a tripod, though, and it has to work together. You have a core gift, which is something that you are just naturally wired to excel at. For me, it's communicating. For you, it might be entertaining. For others, it might be healing. But there's one core gift. We might be good at other things, but there's going to be a 51-49 probably there that moves them towards one more so than the other.
Right.
Figure out what that core gift is. Second, figure out what the vehicle is. What vehicle are you going to use to share that gift? Like this show, right? Maybe this is the type of thing that people can do. Maybe if they're a healer, then maybe massage is that vehicle. And then the third thing that folks can do is to figure out the people, right? Who are the people that they are most compelled to serve? One doesn't work without the other 2, but if you can get one piece of the puzzle, it really is powerful. And frankly, most people will go a lifetime, Mike, without even being able to answer one piece of the puzzle, let alone all 3. So do those 3 things, or at least start with one. That's where you're going to really wake up with a fire in your soul and be like, damn, this I can see why this is something I need to be doing. And there's, I believe that your what has chosen you. I don't believe it's that which you have chosen.
So what piece of advice would you have about interviewing, being interviewed, or establishing that circular feeling when you just know there's this great energetic path that's appealing, interesting, exciting, entertaining for your audience and for you, where you're just loving it and you feel that energy happen? What is it that makes that go?
It goes when you're authentic. It goes when you are clear on who you are.
Give me a story. Give me an example of one where you just knew you nailed it.
Bitching out NPR about the way that they treated Straight Outta Compton.
All right, let's do it.
It literally just went on a 10-minute tirade, much to my partners and co-host chagrin.
They're looking at you with their mouths hanging open.
But you've just got to be willing to say what people who are like you are thinking. And so most of the time, folks are just so afraid of what's going to happen if they actually speak their mind, which means they really don't have a brand.
Yeah.
And if you don't speak your mind, you don't have a brand. If you don't have a brand, you don't have a business, at least in this world. So from my perspective, you've got to be really clear on what your brand is. Mine is the Howard Stern of personal development, right? I mean, that's what I am. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to live it. And a lot of people are different off microphone than on microphone. You hang out with me in a bar, it's going to be the same conversation. You hang out with me at home, it's going to be the same conversation. You hang out with me in the studio, it's going to be the same conversation, because ultimately you either are or you aren't. And I believe that when you try to be something that you aren't, it's just completely incongruent and it never works.
Right on. Okay. So it's, and what was it that was the seed for that? You heard or saw a review that NPR did about Straight Outta Compton and...
Yeah, I was listening to, actually they have a podcast. They have a lot of podcasts. All praise aside, NPR put podcasting back on the map really in a big, big way. But they have a number of different shows. One of those was kind of a round table. And it's like you just put all these NPR guys through the same factory. They all sound the same. They all have the same iteration. They all have the same. And it's just and they're just such smug mother. And they're just so damn smug. And it's really, can you just get to the root of what happened here? Which is you took 4 guys who were broke, who were selling drugs, who were in gangs, who took something that they had within, which was that song to sing, and they did whatever they had to do to sing it. And you're going to you should send every child, every teenager, you should put everybody that you can in that theater to share that story of inspiration. And how on earth do you have the gall to discourage anyone from seeing that? A parent, a grandparent, a teenager, a kid. It's the kind of thing that every child needs to see, because it's just like Barack Obama becoming president. Once you understand what the possibilities are, you can then move towards making that happen. If you don't understand what the possibilities are, you can't even envision the roadmap, because you don't know that the map exists. And they went on and on about why it was basically a movie that you shouldn't see.
Wow. I avoided seeing it. I didn't go see it in the theaters. And I watched it, I think, on a flight. And I was like, this is a good movie.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. And
Oscar-worthy? But it's a good movie.
No, not, yeah. So I was like, I certainly didn't identify with what was going on at the time. I was like, holy cow, these guys are scary.
Yeah.
When just the whole NWA thing, I was like, I'm not going to go, I'm not going near that thing.
Yeah.
And But I did enjoy it. I got it. And I would say totally agree with you on that one.
After the Paris attacks, I mean, I laid into that community. And, you know, not the whole community, but the community that doesn't stand up to say, hey, that's not us.
Right.
You know, that's just an isolated few. You just don't have enough people standing up to say, that's not us as a whole. That's a few knuckleheads.
Yeah.
And we need to distance ourselves from those knuckleheads.
Yeah. They definitely need to be banished, excommunicated from that community. I couldn't agree with you more.
And the community needs to stand up and say, we are not those people. Yeah. And you just don't hear enough of that. Yeah. I mean, after Paris, I laid into them. And are there going to be some people who are like, yeah, you might end up dead. If I end up dead because of something I say on my radio show, hallelujah. You know what I mean? It's like, then, okay, so my message has been heard, and there are worse ways to go.
There you go. The martyr, Steve Olsher.
So to speak. Hopefully not. Don't take that literally, please. Right.
No one's going to have a gun on the outside. But no, that's a great way to top this off. So here's what I'm going to do. Number one, make sure you head on over right now to mrbz.com/what to get Steve Olsher's What Is Your What book for free. And we also did a bonus in-depth interview where we talked about Steve's origins as an entrepreneur. Really interesting, very, very good content. There's a lot of great walk-away lessons. So this is Steve Olsher. He is an entrepreneur in the midst of reinvention. Thank you once again, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
All right, check out his book and definitely get the extended podcast as well. Well, that wraps it up for episode number 18 of the Mike Koenigs Show. And as we get closer to wrapping up season number 1, I've realized that the guests that we've had on the show so far and the ones we're still having come in are actually going to give you everything you need to be a successful entrepreneur. At least that's what my hope is. Now, that includes people like Dave Asprey, who's founder and CEO of Bulletproof Coffee, who's also our show's sponsor. That was in episode 1 of our first show. You also got to meet Queen of Sales Conversions and Conversations, Lisa Sasevich, and the extraordinary business coach and hardcore business founder, Shanda Sumter, someone I've really gotten to know well over the past year. I really enjoy her. And what I would like to say and hope and promise to you is that we've covered just about every aspect of every business that you might be looking for. And one of the greatest lessons that I hope you take away from the show is that to be successful, you've always got to be learning and immersing yourself in new ideas, meeting new people, and as my good friend Brian Tracy likes to say, our lives are changed by the people we meet and the books we read. And that's one of the other reasons why we give away books in just about every episode of the show. So our goal then is to give you great tips of the week with the You Everywhere Now tips. We've got body hacks from my friend JJ Virgin. We got productivity hacks, gadget reviews, and again, the whole goal is to help you run and start and run a more successful business. Now, if you missed any of the episodes, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel or the podcast. That link is mrbz.com/podcast, and that's where you're going to get extended interviews with all of our guests. So what I'd like to also suggest you do is head on over to mrbz.com/show so you can get our show notes, our updates, and links to the bonuses, especially as we are ending this season and about to get into season number 2. You're going to want to get notified as soon as those first episodes are available. So the next thing that I want to let you know is just make sure that you stay tuned for all the other things that we've got planned, and make sure that you like, comment, share this episode with as many people as you can, because without you as a viewer, well, we're nowhere. But with that in mind, I want to thank you so much for watching this episode. Make sure you post any comments, and if you have any questions at all, feel free to send them to MikeKoenigsShow@gmail.com. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you in the next episode.